It's time for Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, James Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Oahe Federal Credit Union, and Edward Jones Financial. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. From the KCCR studios in Pierre, KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
And we welcome you into Coach's Corner here on KCCR on this Wednesday evening, our final one before Thanksgiving. We won't have one next week, Wednesday, but we will talk with Linda DeBoer, the head coach of the Miller Rustlers, as they get set for the Class A state tournament. Also talking with Tom Moore, the head coach of the Slavey's Chargers, as they celebrated a state championship last Thursday for the first time since 1989. We'll talk with Coach Moore coming up here in the program. Also talk with Jim Wadeen, the head coach of the Hawaii Capital girls team, as they are about a week and a half away from getting started for their season next week, Saturday, a couple days after Thanksgiving. And then we'll also talk with Landon Badger, the head coach of the Hawaii Capital boys team, as they are set for their season to begin on Saturday and Sunday down in Yankton. Those are our guests for our Coach's Corner show this evening. We'll return and talk with Linda DeBoer next. You're listening to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 30 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agriculture. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. That number again is 223-2518. Todd's Electric Service, serving the Pierre-Fort Pierre area. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power. It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pierre area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota is serving the central South Dakota community and beyond with a great selection of used vehicles. Local trades and program vehicles are available. New Toyotas and new Fords are arriving and selling before they even hit the lot. So don't wait. Stop in and find out what's coming. If you've been thinking about ordering a new Ford, stop in and sit down with one of our sales specialists today. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit capitalcityfordtoyota.com.
That's a clown question, bro.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Linda DeBoer of the Miller Rustlers as they get set for the state tournament coming up Thursday, Friday, and Saturday out in Sioux Falls. They are the number 1 seed going into the state tournament, but take on the number 8 seed Sioux Falls Christian in the first round of the state tournament. But first, Coach, let's talk about your team. We talked a little bit after your Zodac 16 win last Tuesday. There were a lot of girls that were coming into this season that didn't have the varsity experience that maybe other Miller teams have had over the last couple of years. But this has been a 28-1, really, really good season. What has been so special about this group, especially these girls that have stepped into the varsity roles for the first time this year? What makes this team so special?
This group, last year we graduated 5 seniors off our 4th place state A tournament team. And so there were a lot of roles and a lot of positions that needed to be filled or switched. And so we have a very talented younger group that just took to the challenge and worked hard for their positions and have been performing at their roles very, very successfully and effectively for us this season.
Well, one of the things that really, looking at stat-wise, you have 5 different girls that have picked up over 100 kills, along with your setter and Olivia Russell, who is also closing in on, probably won't get 100 kills, but is closing in on about 1,000 assists in one season. Your attack just seems to come from everywhere, in every different angle, every different hitter. There really isn't maybe you do have that one go-to person, but it looks like there's about 5 different girls that you want to go to throughout an entire night.
Yeah, our all season long we've had exceptional balance, and I think that's one of the things that has helped lead to our success is how well we can move the ball around and feed the ball to different players who can score for us. You're right when you say we don't have really that go-to player, but we have a lot of great players who perform when they need to. Every match, every night, it's been different leaders in each column. One night, Paige will lead us in kills, and the next night, Aaliyah does, and then the next night, Kate does. And same thing with like serving and aces and everything. Our team has been extremely well balanced this year.
And then defensively on the same side of it, Jolie Palmer's your libero who has almost 500 digs in the season. But then you also have in total, 6 different players that have at least over 100 digs, and all 6 of them have over 150 digs. Another girl that's going to probably get 100 digs by the end of the season. She's almost there already. So this, as good as you are offensively, this team is just as good defensively too.
I would agree. I like our balance both on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Jolie is the primary passer and our primary defense in the back row, but we've had some girls that have been able to help her out and take a little bit of the pressure off of her this year. Jolie has almost, I think, 1,500, maybe 1,700 digs for her career. This is her 3rd year as our starting libero. So she is phenomenal in the back row and really gets our offense going because she can pick up so many balls. But we are definitely a team. We over me this year a lot.
Well, and that's going to be so good because as a coach, you want that all the time and you want to see that. But then when you actually get it to happen, it's got to be so rewarding as a coach and really to see that in those players, not just so much in volleyball, and especially right now, especially in volleyball, but just, sports are such life lessons too. When you have that we over me mentality and you see it to fruition, it really shows just how good of people these girls are too.
This group is built, I would say, a family theme for themselves this year. They feel like family stands for forget about me and I love you, and they walk the walk and talk the talk about that every single day. And they've spent a lot of time on the court and off the court bonding with one another and spending time with one another and really deepening their friendships and their relationships. And I think that just makes it all the more special when they go out on the court together because they have that connection and that rapport with one another. And they truly believe not only in themselves but in each other. And they play with each other, but they really do play for one another. And that is just a phenomenal thing to see come into fruition for a coach.
Talk with Linda DeBoer of the Miller Rustlers, 28-1 of the season. They go in as the number 1 overall seed in Class A, taking on the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers in that first round. And Coach, I know Sioux Falls Christian as an 8 seed kind of feels a little bit unfair. I know that if you want to win a state championship, you got to go beat everybody. Sioux Falls Christian is no exception. But to have a number 8 seed in Sioux Falls Christian. And maybe not. Maybe it feels fair because then you know, hey, we got to be at our best from the very start, and we're going to play one of the best teams in the last decade in this state, in Sioux Falls Christian. We got to try and beat them right away. So is it almost nice to play them in the first round to go out there and try and beat them to have that good start on Thursday?
We've played it both ways in our mind, like you were saying. Yes, is it the matchup that we wanted, knowing their history and their tradition and what an exceptional ball club Darcy has? No, it wasn't the ideal draw, but we've kind of reversed our philosophy on that a little bit. And everyone thought that the target would be on our back as number one, but I really think we've got our girls convinced that the target is on their back. They might have a little more to prove, having so many state championships in a row, than we do going in as number one. So I think we've reversed our mindset on it a little bit and now think of it more positively.
So now this Sioux Falls Christian team, 25-12 in the season as they come in. When you look at film, look at their stats and everything like that, what kind of stands out to you the most when you've been getting ready for this contest on Thursday?
They are exceptional. You know, their offense and their defense flows so well together. They put up such a big block with their height and their athleticism, and so that's something we've spent some time looking at and trying to practice with this week. Tough servers, great athletes. Their setter, of course, is a phenomenal setter and playmaker. So I actually think that we match up pretty well with them statistically and balance-wise. They're strong on the outside, strong in the middle, and I like to think that we are too. They've got a great defensive specialist, and I think we do too. So I think it's going to be a good battle. I hope our kids are ready for the challenge when we get there Thursday morning.
Well, and you're playing at 11 a.m., and obviously you're going to get there, Wednesday night for a practice, but playing that first game at 11 a.m., is that, obviously that means you're either the 1 or the 8 seed when you get to play at 11 a.m., but that tells you, does that help getting that first game in and either letting the nerves settle down or just not, see so many other volleyball games and let those nerves build up? Obviously, you take it where you can get it, but is it kind of nice playing at 11 a.m.?
I think it will be. I think we've got quite a bit of experience coming back from last year's team, and Aaliyah and Jolie, for them, this will be their third state tournament. So I think these kids would play any hour, any day, anywhere to be able to have this experience of playing in a state tournament. So I think we will be ready. Wednesday's practice will help us a lot to, I think, get the nerves out of the way and just get oriented again to the facility and the vastness of the ceiling and the lights and the sound of the floor and all of that. So I hope our nerves get calmed and we gain a sense of confidence after we leave there after our practice tomorrow.
Well, and you play Friday, Saturday, regardless if you win or lose. But Dakota Valley or Mount Vernon Plington, that Friday game, whoever it is, however you win, lose, however it is, you're not worried about them. So I mean, you, as a coach, you probably have the subtle game plan of how to attack all 7 of the other teams. But the main focus right now is right on Sioux Falls Christian, right?
Yes, one match at a time, 1 point at a time, 1 set at a time, 1 day at a time. And that's just the way you have to approach these state tournaments because your whole schedule and the whole philosophy changes, whether it's win or lose every single day. So our goal, though, is to get out of the Sunshine League and get into the night session.
Well, a couple more questions. First off, let's start with the overall aspect. What's kind of the biggest key for the Miller Wrestlers to have a successful tournament, regardless of place? What's kind of that biggest key for them to have for you guys to have a successful tournament this weekend?
I think they have to believe in themselves and believe in each other and believe in what we've accomplished so far this year. I also think, of course, our serve pass game has to be solid. Every coach probably says that, but I think that first contact on both sides of the ball has to be effective and efficient for us to be successful. And I think we just need to make fewer errors than they do, force them to make the errors, and we try to minimize our unforced errors on our side of the net.
And then final question, it probably will come off of that answer too. The biggest key to beat Sioux Falls Christian on Thursday, that first opponent, what's the biggest key to beat Sioux Falls Christian?
Confidence. I think my kids just need confidence and just to think of them not as the defending state champion, but just as another team that stands in our way of achieving everything that we've set out to do this year and to continue our successful run.
Well, Coach, hey, I appreciate the time. It is good talking to you. It's going to be a fun weekend out in Sioux Falls. Looking forward to seeing what this Miller team can do. I appreciate the time. Safe travels and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That is Linda DeBoer, the head coach of the Miller Rustlers volleyball team. They get set to take on Sioux Falls Christian 11 a.m. on Thursday in the first round of the Class A state tournament. Back with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. KCCRradio.com.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention, it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
As community bankers, BankWest employees are deeply committed to supporting local causes, growing the local economy, and creating local opportunities. At a time when you can bank anywhere, we hope you choose BankWest. We'll be your financial partner for the long haul, helping you and your community achieve financial success. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined, so y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back here on Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Tom Moore of the victorious Soybees Chargers, the 9B state champions that happened last Thursday against the Faulkton area Trojans. First off, Coach, congratulations. What a fun game last Thursday for you guys to get that 9B championship.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It was a fun game. It was a good week of preparation by the boys, and they're ready to play, so it was great to see them come out the way that they did.
And you guys picked up the win 34-14 and started early on. Wesley Whitler got it with a touchdown run to get you going just a couple minutes in, end up with a 16-6 lead after the first quarter. You guys lost to this team and scored 8 points the first time around. What was one of the biggest things that you saw early on that was different about this game that the offense was able to have so much more success?
You know, one that loss was good for us. It kind of put us in some positions. You know, we were down a good kid with Barber. I mean, they had the Dieter kid that didn't play that game as well, but I think Gavin was more influential to us. We needed him more than maybe they needed the Dieter, even though he's a very good player. But be able to utilize him in different ways and be able to spread things out. And a lot of times we empty the backfield with things. And Wes's game, he played pretty well the start of the year, but he played really well, especially the last 6 weeks of the season. He played really well. Coach White got him in good positions to make some reads for him. And then we started running him more. That was probably the biggest thing. We tried to save him throughout the year because we knew that we'd be able to +1 people with him running, but just we didn't need him hurt early on. And with knowing Gavin was going to come back end of the year, our goal is to get to the end. So we started running him. That makes things hard defensively when you start running the quarterback and have a kid that can sling it in the West.
Yeah, 161 yards or 158 yards of rushing, had 194 yards passing. That's pretty good day for any kind of quarterback and any kind of football player, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's the reason we got where he was with what he could do all year, and it's awesome to see a kid that puts that much effort into things succeed like that, or you get rewarded for the amount of stuff that he's done to put us in a position to have a chance to win it.
And defensively, it's not that you guys didn't play good the first time around. You kept them from under 30 points, but in this game, only 14 points, and it was a touchdown the first possession. Then you get 2 punts, an interception, a fumble, turnover on downs before they finally score on their 7th possession. This defense really, really dialed in on Thursday night for that win.
Yeah, we played well. We played well the first time we played them. I think it was 14-8 into the third quarter, and then gave them 2 junk ones at the end. But they're super good up front. They're extremely physical. Teams that we've faced throughout the year, we didn't match up very good. So once we got some things adjusted about week 6 of how I need to run this defense and how to move them around, made us better. And then we played Corsica, which was huge up front. We played Canastota, which was really big up front. So that helped us prep and get ready to play a very physical game against Faulkton, which it was. I mean, people were beat up on both sides of the ball at the end, and I'm happy our kids played the way they did, and they bought into the scheme that us coaches put in front of them, and it was enjoyable to watch.
You can talk with Coach Tom Moore of the Soybeans Chargers. They won the 9B state championship last Thursday, which you heard on Country 95.3 with DT on the call. This community had not seen a state championship win since 1989. You guys have been there a couple different times, but for you to be a part of this, the community for so many years, and to see the success of all these sports, and even to see the success of the football team, but just not quite get the championship. What was it like Thursday when the whistle blew, the horn blew? You guys were the champions. What was that like for this town of Oneida and for this group of Sully Buttes?
It was pretty awesome. It's incredible having a small town get there. And we had a large crowd. Falcon had a large crowd that was there. So for just having one game in the Dome, I didn't know how quiet it was going to be, and it was pretty loud. How I call things was on defensively using my scheme. It made things hard at times for the kids to hear what was going on, but which is awesome to kind of feel. You can feel the vibes on big, fumbles and scores and stuff like that. It's incredible. So it's awesome for the community and awesome for the kids.
What's it been like for you now since the getting back? What's kind of school been like for you getting back into the swing of things after winning a state championship?
Now it's a little more focused on school than I was maybe the last week or two. But anytime you had a chance to watch film and every team's tougher and tougher. So the amount of film that you can watch and get preparation, little changes, losing a day of preparation last week just made everything fast forward. So my third, fourth, and fifth graders have been awesome to have, and they wanted to watch the game yesterday. They tried to divert me from our science and social studies lessons. We watched the game we don't need to watch it right now, but. They're excited for it as well.
I'm sure that was kind of hard for you to say no to, because I'm sure you probably want to go back and watch that game a little, especially to take some time too to be able to go back and watch it.
Yeah, we watched 3 minutes, so we didn't start it. So it might take a month to watch it at 3 minutes at a clip, but now they're tuned into it. So it's awesome to see that the younger kids, the 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds buy into as well now, and what the older kids were able to do. So it's fun stuff.
Again, talking with Tom Moore, the head coach of the Soybeans Chargers, picking up that state championship win. These seniors get a chance to go out as a state champion, and I know I've asked you this before about what the seniors have meant to this group and to this football team and what they'll leave. But now that they've got that state championship, what do they leave behind for the Soybeans Charger team and to be able to be the state champions this year?
It's great, the legacy that they're able to leave behind. We were in the Dome a couple times, like when Nick Whitler and Jet Lamb and those guys were playing. For a couple of years, we kind of lost that culture, that winning feel of what's going on. So several of these guys have been playing since freshmen and sophomore, playing huge reps for us. So to be able to see them overcome all the stuff that we've happened the last couple of years and get through it and get us in position to have a chance to win it was really, really good to see our kids evolve that way. Where beginning of the year you didn't know what was going to happen, but they bought in every single week. It got better and better and better, and it got to the point where it was flat out entertaining to watch these guys play. So I'm great they're a part of it. They're leading the way for the next wave of kids coming up.
And as a 9B school is sometimes, you don't get to pick and choose how many seniors you have on your team. Sometimes you have a whole lot, sometimes you have a few, but there's a lot of guys that are coming back next year. And I know you're not so much worried about 2025 yet. You're still enjoying this state championship and get to enjoy it for a little while, and rightfully so. But boy, there's a lot of guys that have got a lot of reps that are going to still be back next year for this Soybeats team.
Yeah, we've got a handful that had some good postseason awards that'll be back to us next year. Anytime you lose 8 seniors in the size of school that we are, that's hard to do. But we have a big wave of younger kids coming. Just hopefully we have enough in between to continue to be competitive in the next future years. So we'll have a good batch of seniors. Our juniors this year will be seniors next year. That'll be great leaders. So our hands are in good position. So hopefully we have a good off season to lead us into next August.
So a couple of final questions. One of them is going to kind of put you on the spot. What was maybe one of the funniest things or one of the coolest things that you remember from the Thursday after the game through the celebration through the weekend? One of the things that really sticks out to your mind in celebrating the state championship. One good story out of all of that. If there is just one, maybe there's a couple, and you can tell me a couple if you want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I can think of one offhand, but I think one of the coolest moments for me is we had, after the game, do all the postseason stuff and whatnot, and I did get to do a little bit of celebrating with the team and stuff for about 20 minutes, but I had a all-state meeting directly right after a game that took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. While this was going on, the whole community and stuff was up at Old Lumber Company up in downtown Vermilion doing our kind of our send-off and stuff like that for the kids and had a meal and stuff for them, so it was pretty cool. Not knowing, I knew there'd be quite a few people, but when I walked upstairs to the convention center area that I was in, it was packed full, and it was kind of loud when I got up there. It got really loud when I got to be able to walk up there, so that was really surreal of just, that'll always stick in my mind of all the people that are up there for the kids that follow this team, so that was pretty cool.
That is awesome stuff, Coach. Hey, I appreciate all year long, other than the bye week, and when we didn't have Coach's Corner, you're there talking to me, and I appreciate every single week talking on Coach's Corner, and I'm so happy that we got a chance to do this one after the state championship, knowing that you got the state championship. Congratulations again. It's been fun talking to you all year. Enjoy it over the off season, and it's been a fun ride to watch you guys win the state championship.
I appreciate everything you've done and look forward to next year.
As head coach Tom Moore of the Soybeats Chargers will return with more of a Coach's Corner after this. And congratulations again to the Chargers for winning the 9B state championship. More Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
This fall, take some time to think about your future. While the leaves make their way down to earth and the last sunset of summer leaves us with an autumn chill, it's time to grab the nearest foam finger and break out the face paint. Rush the stands with First Dakota National Bank and forget how to blink. Fall sports are back with jaw-dropping plays, an electric atmosphere, and epic scores. Make some noise with First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakotanationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
Let me talk to you. You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Jim Wadeen of the Hawaii Lady Capitals. And Coach, new year getting started. It'll be next week, Saturday and Sunday, that you guys play your first varsity games against the Rushmore Thunder. Not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. But a lot of excitement around this team of what you guys were able to do and accomplish last year, and what all you bring back. There's not a whole lot from last year's team that is gone. A lot of everybody is coming back, which already brings in a lot of excitement. How exciting has this first couple weeks of practice been for you? Really, first couple months.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to see these girls returning. A lot of these girls played for Team South Dakota last summer and this fall, and really shows a lot. We've got a lot of speed on the team right now again, and some really good stick handling, really good shooting, and it's going to be a fun and exciting season for this group of girls.
And I had mentioned too that all the experience is coming back, but this is still a young team. There's still a lot of young girls in this team that have that varsity experience, which also leads to a lot of excitement, because this is, obviously you get a couple seniors on the team that you want them to win on their final year and everything like that, but there's still, the majority of this team has got a couple more years left before they get away from the Hawaii Capitals.
That's right. Yeah, we've got Briley Kafka is a senior this year, and Sophia Pashong is a senior this year as well. And they bring some really fantastic leadership with them. And then from there on, we've got a number of sophomores and juniors, and we've got 3 girls that are going to be playing full-time varsity this year that are just 12 years old. So we got years ahead of us. You got.
And this is your third year as head coach, correct?
Yes, my third.
And so from the first year to that second year, and then now from the year 2 to year 3, what have you noticed about this group that's kind of been the most exciting, or one of the big things that you've noticed in the development from the off season from year 2 to year 3?
Well, when I took over 3 years ago with this team, one of the things I noticed was they had a lot of passion for the game, and a lot of drive, and a lot of self-determination to really go out and be the best that they could be. And I was hoping that they would continue to grow and foster that love for the game, and that desire to be better. And that's exactly what they've done. All of those girls have worked so hard every year, in the off season and at every practice, and it really shows. The way they skate now is really awesome.
Well, it's still before the season, so there's still a lot to be determined as the season goes on. But another thing that in girls hockey it's hard to do is just have the depth and have the quality depth. But the Hawaii Capitals going into the season, I think you could say, probably without seeing everybody else right now, but kind of realizing what everybody had from last year, Hawaii Capitals probably have one of the deepest teams coming into the state this year.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. We've got 3 strong lines, full lines that we're going to be running this year, and before every game it's going to be a question about who's going to be starting, because they're all right there. They're all every one of them could start any game,
and that's going to be a lot of fun as a coach to be able to have that, be able to almost question on who's going to start, because everybody is going to be deserving of being able to start.
Yeah, for sure. And then it also drives some fun competition within the girls too. They push each other and challenge each other all the time, and that's fun to see.
And you guys got a chance to play some preseason games at the Ninja tournament that took place a couple weeks ago. Now you have to help me out too, because did you have the full team, or were some of the girls playing on different teams that were there, or did they play on both teams and kind of pick and choose where they were going? Because I know that there's been other years where they've all been kind of playing on different teams and stuff like that. So how did that go? Team-wise, but also individual-wise too.
Yeah, I think we had 5 girls that were playing on multiple teams down there. A couple of girls had jumped on to the Team Ninja team that was kind of put together with girls from across the state, and then those girls just they skated. I think they had 8 games in the course of just 3 days down there. So,
which again, you never have too many games, never have too much ice time, and especially early on the season, very, very good to have.
Yeah, it really is. Yep.
Going into this next week, the Rushmore Thunder are your first opponents, and obviously you're still worried about the yourself and not worried about the opponents or really game playing for the Rushmore Thunder. Well, what do you kind of expect going into those first couple of games here in about 9 days from now in that first weekend of the season?
Well, I'm expecting that Rushmore is going to put together a really good team. I think that they're going to challenge us on every shift. So we've got to go out and we've got to be ready for that.
Well, and being able to be on the road, and now we'll talk about that here in just a second too, but being able to be on the road and open up the season, is it nice? As a coach, obviously, wins will be a lot of fun to have at the beginning of the season, but is it nice to maybe get on the road before getting at home to kind of get the team out together and get the first games going?
I guess if I had my preference, I would prefer my first game to be at home, just to try to ease some of the tension, some of the nerves a little bit. I think it's a little easier when you're on your home ice for those first games. But
one of the things that's changing this year is playing everybody 3 times instead of twice for the girls' side of things, because it does still give you 21 games, which you had 14 last year. It gives you those extra 7 games, which is 1 less than what the boys are playing at this point too, which is good. It's good to have those extra 7 games, but you get some back-to-backs, and you get a chance to be on the road now, play Saturday and Sunday against Rushmore, then they'll come home and play 1 game against the Capitals at home. But that also leaves that you're playing back-to-back games. So there is that question mark of, you used to do it with just Sioux Center, and that was it. Now you're doing there's times where you're doing it with everybody. What can be the challenge and what can be the fun of playing somebody back-to-back days like that and doing that with basically every team this year?
Well, I think some of the challenges that we're going to face with that this year is if we go out and we're successful and we win a game, to bring the girls back in and say, hey, okay, now we've got to stay focused and we've got to go out and we've got to do this again. We've keep our head on and work hard like we did in the first game. But then on the other side of it also is if we go out and maybe we don't play as well as we should and we lose, how do we bring those girls back together and how do we lift them up and make sure that they understand that, hey, we can do this. We can beat any team in the state right now. And
talking with Jim Wadeen here of the Hawaii Capitals. The Lady Capitals take on the Rushmore Thunder coming up next week, Saturday and Sunday on the road out in Rapid City. Couple final questions too is, I kind of mentioned it already a little bit, but the expectation of this team and sometimes it's a little unfair to ask a coach expectation at the beginning of the season, but what you kind of see maybe early on, what you kind of expect from these girls from what you've seen from practice to these first couple games of the season.
You put me on the spot there, John. What we really want the girls to do is we want the girls to go out and we want them to work hard and we want them to have fun. We want them to enjoy the game and enjoy the time and enjoy their teammates. That really always does come first and foremost, and that's something that I need to remind myself of often as well. From a win-loss standpoint, I don't even want to try to go down that road right now. We're just going to go out and we're going to play some good hockey. I think it's going to be a really fun team to watch this year.
Well, and then now I know you just answered how you answered that question, but I'll finish off with this: is the biggest key to pick up wins early on. Well, whether it be something fundamental or whatever it might be. Kind of a biggest key to get early wins of the season.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely going to want to try to take as many wins as we can right out of the first part of the season, for sure. Yeah.
Well, hey, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. It's fun talking with you. Looking forward to the first part of the season. It's going to be a lot of fun this year.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks for your support. Appreciate it.
That's head coach Jim Wadeen of the Hawaii Capitals. We'll return with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff, ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends. Let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre.
Keep for helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
You like that? You like that?
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Join me as Coach Landon Badger of the Owyhee Capitals as they get set for the first two games of the season on Saturday and Sunday against the Yankton Bucks. That'll be coming up on Capital City Rock and on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. But Coach, it's good talking to you. First time getting the chance to do this, taking over that the head coaching spot for the Capitals, and there's a lot of excitement. I think when Coach Steele stepped back last year, 13 seniors graduating. He stepped back from the head coaching spot. You took over and bringing a lot of guys that played JV and will get extended varsity time. It was kind of a right match and a right timing to make it all happen because of, one, the familiarity that you already have with these guys, but just in general with the kind of transition that moves in from the 13 seniors graduating to all these extra guys moving in. It all just kind of made sense and kind of helped you flow into things too to start off the year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've talked recently about this too. As we all know, we lost 13 seniors, and that's a big loss to have going into a season. But we are familiar with a lot of the faces that we have coming back this year. We'll have some new young guys that are going to be coming up and having to step up into big roles. But as far as kind of the experienced guys, they've been under kind of Bryce, Jaden, and myself's wing for the last 2 to 3 years. And so they've kind of gotten a good head start on what we're looking for as a hockey team and for the Owyhee Capitals. And they're going to be put into a big spot, jumping up quite a few of those guys from JV up into the varsity roles. But as the season's getting going this year, and we've been skating for almost 2 months now with a majority of our guys. We've had some football guys that haven't been able to be there as much, but as they can be there, they're around. And we're seeing a lot of good things so far this year.
Well, and one thing too, a couple of years ago, there was a lot of guys that were there, but Colin Lee was a solid goalie to have in between the pipes and kind of get more guys familiar. Last year with Spencer Anderson and Jackson Youngworth getting their first true varsity minutes. You had a lot of guys returning, obviously those 13 seniors. Now this year with a few less guys, Jackson is back again as the start. Spencer Anderson graduated, so Jackson is back, and that kind of helps too. When you lose a lot of guys, it's always nice to bring a goalie back. When you have a new goalie, it's nice to bring a lot of guys back, and you're in that spot where you have a goaltender that has seen the varsity ranks for the last year. He didn't have as many starts, but he has played, had 5 decisions, 4 wins, and that kind of helps kind of maybe ease a lot of people, a lot of guys going into the season as well, having that familiarity in goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're kind of falling into the same position as it was a couple years ago. We've got 4 guys that are playing goalie kind of in our JV role and competing for the backup spot and some varsity games possibly throughout the season as well with Jackson. And so kind of a little bit of a familiar look from a few years back, but Jackson's definitely ready for the test, and we look forward to our other 4 goalies doing a really good job of growing and developing and learning under Jackson and pushing him and not making his life easy to just know that he's got the spot, because as we kind of teach every single kid, your best friends, good teammates, but you're also a little bit of enemies too, in the fact of you're trying to push each other and make every single person better and make them never be just comfortable at where they're at. So
what's the thing here with a lot of times you see teams going, boy, we're struggling to find goalies. It's hard to to have a JV, just a JV and a varsity goalie, but it's hard to have a backup for all these guys. Now you get 5 goalies, which is great to have. It's always great to have a lot of goalies, but it is kind of challenging to make sure you rotate guys around, whether they're just dressing or not dressing. Rotate those guys around, and it is that's a challenge challenge in itself, which most teams are saying, we just wish we could, dress 4 goalies for JV and varsity. So it's got to be nice, but a challenge on top of that.
Yeah, so as far as this year with the goalie situation, it's something that we've never really had to experience as much as we have over the last few years, and it's a blessing. It's also sometimes a huge challenge that we're going to have. Having 5 goalies is never the easiest thing. As we all know, there's only one goalie that normally plays in a hockey game, and so when we're going through the situation and kind of sitting down as a coaching staff between Bryce and Jaden and I, we have to kind of talk through some of these things. And the big challenge this year is how are we going to make it work with 4 to 5 goalies playing, and we're looking at some kind of uncommon things to do, but wanting to have these guys challenge each other is we might have the guys have a half game and be able to split games throughout the beginning of the season, as we want to see kids kind of be pushed to the limits and see them kind of work things out in a unique situation where they might actually be coming into a game halfway through, but it's a big test for them. It could be a 1-1 game, and they have to jump right in there and be as aggressive as we ask them to be, and do things that maybe they don't always do, where they get the full warm-up beginning of the game and work right into the start of the game. It might be they actually are kind of on a little bit of a break from the warm-ups and just kind of visualizing and mentally getting prepared to come in the second half of the hockey game. But we look forward to it. We know that it's an uncomfortable position, but we know that our kids are willing to do the test, and we know that they are capable of learning from that experience, and it's going to give them an opportunity to be in games more often than if we were to just go, one guy's going to start this game, one guy's going to start the next. You might end up sitting for almost a month before you get to play a hockey game as a goalie. So it's a little bit different way of playing, but we think that our kids are up for the test and will be able to kind of accomplish what we need them to do. So.
Talking with Landon Badger of the Hawaii Capitals, they will play Yankton on Saturday and Sunday out on the road to open up the season. We talked about the goalies. We'll talk about the skaters as well, that those guys that return, and 2 guys on the defensive side, Bridger Babcock and Aiden Beam, those 2 guys return from that side that are very good defensive players, as well as also Dylan Dodson, Keegan Kitts, those guys on the offensive side, Asher Vandenbos, as well as also Cameron Lee. Whether they had a lot of ice time, they dressed a lot at least, and were sitting on the bench for varsity throughout the entire season. And it's hard to say that those are the guys that are returning, but if you're going to pick a group that's just returning, it's a good start for those guys that are going to be leading the way for the offense, defense, just the skater side of things. Those are going to be good guys to get going at the start of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we look at it from the goalie's perspective to defense to offense, we have a leadership role in each part of there. Jackson's had the experience on the goalie side. You've got Keegan, Dylan, Asher that have had the experience on the forward side. And then between the defense, you've got Beam and Bridger returning, along with Cameron Lee. Jesse Eldridge has been on the bench a few times throughout the last few years, so he's going to be another guy that's got good experience there. And again, like we kind of talked about over and over again, is we've coached all these guys throughout the last few years, and so we've kind of told them our expectations, whether they're playing in a game or sitting in a game, how to get the experience, how to get a little bit more of the hockey knowledge, and be kind of prepared for when the spotlight's on you, you're ready to go and ready to be in that situation. And so we feel we have a really good start with some good leadership roles there. Along with that, I mean, we've got a lot of young guys that are going to be coming in our forward and defensive side. You got Cooper Beestrom, Landry Van Rokel. That'll be a couple more defensemen that are still young and developing, but are showing a lot of really good promise early on in the season, that are going to get a lot of chances early and be able to kind of play side by side with Beam, Bridger, Cameron Lee, Jesse, and kind of get that experience early on with some of those older guys. And then when you look at the forward side of things, some of the new faces or guys that have only seen the ice a few times varsity-wise, you've got Aiden Bowder, Triton Parmalee, Ian Schweitzer, Logan Anderson, Lyle Bonney. a lot of these guys have had either brothers that have been up in the league earlier before them that they've been able to watch, and they've been skating with all of our older guys for the last few months and being able to kind of get the experience early on and be ready come this weekend against Yankton.
And let's talk a little bit about Yankton, their team that is still trying to get to their first ever varsity state tournament. They've been building up the last couple of years. You can see the groups that they've had success at the lower levels, continuing to move up those ranks. But what do you expect from the Yankton Bucks here in the first weekend of the season? When again, there's so much unknown for every team, and especially for a Yankton team that has some talent that can maybe get to that state tournament this year, still trying to find that first ever state tournament. What do you can expect for them this weekend?
I compliment Yankton a lot. Looking back to the years that I was playing, it was kind of the start of the JV varsity level, and where they've grown to today is amazing what they've done in that association, and we're going to have a huge test right away. We look over the last few years of how these kids have done from the Yankton side, even from the Pee Wee to Bantam to JV varsity level as they've came up. They've been competing every single year come state tournament time, and so we know that we have a huge test early on, and we're trying to get as much preparation as we possibly can this week to kind of get focused and ready to go. And our hope is that we come out of there with 4 wins altogether. We need to have those 4, but we know it's not going to come easy. We can't just go out there and think that it's a cakewalk. The moment that happens, that's when you get into trouble. And so that's kind of been the preparation all week, is have the mindset that that's the number 1 team and we're chasing them right away. And we know that it's going to be a good test, but if we stick to the things that we do best and trust our process and trust our teammates out there, we know that we're going to be tough to beat. And so if we stick to those things, Yankton's going to have a tough time, but we've just got to trust our process.
Capitals play at 7 o'clock Saturday, 2:15 on Sunday. Both games of the varsity side on Capital City Rock and on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. A couple final questions. One is a start. I like to always ask how key a start is, or how important a start is, especially at the beginning of the season. How important, what constitutes a good start for the Capitals, whether it be a 1-0 lead or playing some good defense, or Jackson seeing a couple shots, or just in general seeing those saves be made, or shots hit the goalie on the other side of the rink. What kind of constitutes a good start for the Capitals, and how important that is for the first game of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it starts right away. The moment you come into that rink, you kind of get yourself into that mindset that, hey, we're here to do our job and we're here to do it well. And so the moment they get in there, they get focused up. You get going with your warm-ups. You get your goalies warmed up. That's the main focus come warm-up time when you get out onto the ice. But the moment that puck drops, our main mentality is that our feet have got to be moving as quick as possible. And if we do a really good job of that, that's going to put so much more pressure on any hockey team that we go up against. And so that's the goal day in and day out. When we get to the hockey rink, our feet are moving as soon as we get there, and we're trying to have quick feet, make the pressure, and make the guy that's going against you have to make a quick decision and kind of make mistakes over and over again. And so if we do a good job with that and do a good job with our forecheck pressure, we're going to be a tough team to beat. But the moment that we get on our heels and we play back, that's when things start to kind of become more of a panic in any hockey team. You see that in high school sports in general. The more pressure you put on people, the harder it is for a team to go against you. And so we want to be that expectation day in and day out. And when we leave on Sundays, it should always be that we are completely wiped out and we need to get kind of refreshed and recouped come to the beginning of the next week. And so that's kind of the goal.
And then follow-up question kind of leads in from your answer, too. It might be kind of the same answer. Is biggest key overall for the Capitals to get wins on Saturday and Sunday? What would that be?
Yeah, so leading right back into kind of the things that I just did talk about, the feet moving is definitely the biggest expectation. And to go along with that is our forecheck pressure. If we do a really good job with that, we're going to be tough to beat. And the main mindset is to zone about 70% of that hockey game. And if we do a good job of doing that, we're going to be tough to beat there. And we're going to be able to create all the things that we've been working on the offensive side, whether it's our forwards, our defense, whatever it is. all of it is kind of going to connect and be able to work. But as soon as you play back on your heels, everything kind of falls apart, and so we can't let that happen. And when those mistakes do happen, we have to just reset, get a regroup opportunity.
Well, hey, Coach, I appreciate the time. It's good talking to you. Looking forward to the start of the season coming up on Saturday, Sunday, 7 o'clock puck drop Saturday night, 2:15 puck drop Sunday afternoon. Both those games on Capital City Rock and on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. Coach, I appreciate it. It's going to be fun this year. Looking forward to it, and we'll be talking to you Saturday in the pregame show.
Awesome. We appreciate it, and go Caps.
As head coach Landon Badger of the Hawaii Capitals. We'll return more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. KCCRradio.com. KCCRradio.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your healthcare is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota is serving the central South Dakota community and beyond with a great selection of used vehicles. Local trades and program vehicles are available. New Toyotas and new Fords are arriving and selling before they even hit the lot. So don't wait. Stop in and find out what's coming. If you've been thinking about ordering a new Ford, stop in and sit down with one of our sales specialists today. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit CapitalCityFordToyota.com.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now I'm playing for real.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. What play should I call now? Maybe corner three.
He's hot. He is hot. Keep feeding that guy.
Now back to Coach's Corner with KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
And we welcome you back into Coach's Corner here in the KCCR studios. One final time as we want to say thanks to our coaches here this evening. Linda DeBoer of the Miller Rustlers. They get started tomorrow in the state tournament in Class A against Sioux Falls Christian at 11 a.m. Also want to say thanks to Tom Warnick. Congratulations to the Soleil's Chargers on winning the 9B state championship last Thursday. Also thanks to Jim Wadeen, the head coach of the Hawaii Capital Girls, and Landon Badger, the head coach of the Hawaii Capital Boys team, as their seasons are getting set to begin. We will not have Coach's Corner next Wednesday due to the Thanksgiving holiday, but we will return in the first part of December for a couple of weeks before we break for the Christmas, New Year's holiday break for the 2024-25 session of Coach's Corner. But again, thanks to our coaches. Be back 2 weeks from today right here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. And a reminder that you can go watch and listen to these shows on YouTube at any time at KCCR Sports. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Edward Jones Financial, Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. To hear the show again, head to YouTube at KCCR Sports for shows at any time. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.